Greetings and good day, everyone. We're here at high noon, the Evergreen State College on a Wednesday. And do you see the happening? Do you see the bustling? Do you see the crowds a-crowding? Is this homecoming week or what? This is usually kind of the biggest sort of social time at the college. What a maddening place. I was going to do some more filming today and only had plastic with me, and they only accept cash or checks for the parking here. So it made it a little bit inconvenient, and I'm on my way out the door, but just kind of wanted to give you once again. And yes, somebody said, why don't you just spit it out and say it's identity politics? Which indeed it is, and thank you for pointing that out. That we don't have to overcomplicate it, but I do like to sometimes touch upon, only because I had lived in New York and gone to New York and lived above Stanley Aronowitz, who was a teacher. I don't know, he's probably like retired now, although I don't know. The last I saw, he was at CUNY, and he had been a Marxist professor at Columbia University, and he was a really nice guy, although, politically I wasn't, there with him, but he was a, good neighbor or whatever. But I remember going downstairs once, and he said, where do you work? And because he told me about what was going on with him. There'd been a sort of purge of Marxist professors, he said, over at Columbia. And he said Zabig was part of it, which is odd because I sort of see Zabig Brzezinski as the name on the Trilateral Commission documents that you can look up yourselves, because that's where I have found these documents too, online, where you can see Governor Dan Evans, who is and was, is he still alive? I'll have to look that one up. Dan Evans was a governor here, considered a moderate Republican. I don't know if that means Democrat or, pre-neocon or something like that. And we can get into the neocons too, because they actually organized up here. But Dan Evans, the governor, was the person who signed the college and really brought it into being, and was, I believe, the second president of the college. He was not the first. That was Charles McCann. And Dan Evans, you can see his name on Trilateral Commission documents right there with Henry Kissinger, Zabig Brzezinski, all of your big faves. There's a little group over there, huh? And so they had a plan behind the plan, if you know what I'm saying. And that was really what Stanley was getting at. And it was funny because Stanley said, first he said, well, where do you go to school? Because I was only like 21, 22 when I fled to New York and started proofreading there at the law firms. For just all it was fun. It was classified, it was real, it was Wall Street, it was unlike any of this nonsense that I had been put through. It was actually quite refreshing, the proofreading there. And he said, well, where do you go to school? Thinking I would say NYU or Columbia. That was where my boyfriend was. And, Baruch, or who knows, even the new school. I guess that's the Evergreen of New York. And they probably have other bastions as well. And of course, everything is kind of changing this way, which is so weird. It's like I went to New York to escape, and then it all exploded on the identity cultural market or whatever. But so that is interesting to look at the roots and to see Dan Evans' little El Muggo signing on the trilateral line. So when I get someone saying, it's identity politics, yes, it is. But what's behind that? Who is behind that? It's not organic. It's not organic. It's not organic. And that is what I was trying to maybe put through, is that this was very, very planned. And just a very kind of planned place and a planned thing, and that the identity politics were part of a plan. Okay, so once again, you can look up Dan Evans, the governor, Zbig Brzezinski, Henry Kissinger, Trilateral Commission, and you will get those documents, and that will tie you, paper trail wise, to what I'm trying to explain to you, which is what Stanley explained to me. And I think, as I've told you all before, he said to me, you know, where are you going to school? I said, Evergreen. He just about died. Oh my God, that's the MK Ultra mind control experiment place, you know, and thank God you're somehow using it like Bazooka Joe and getting the degree. I almost said post-mortem, getting the degree, you know, off-site and in New York. And then he said, where do you work? And I said, Sullivan and Cromwell. And he just about died. He said, oh my God, you know, you're with all the crazed Nazis. And then he said, you know what, it's better to be in the eye of the storm, right? And he had a point. Here they were really trying to drive me crazy. They really were. But they don't want to drive the proofreaders nuts. You know, somebody's got to be saying to read the documents. And I always felt like they very much left me alone in that way. So anyway, have a great day. Take good care all. And, you know, here it is. Here it is. We've got the happening of the happening. Take care. Bye-bye.